that.
You're right. You're right. Let's do this. So apparently Bobby Lee said something about Owen Benjamin.
He did.
Okay. Well, let's see what it is. It's from Johnny Arcade.
I love Bobby
too.
Lee, by the way. He's great.
Let's check this out.
Buddy, I'm sorry that what you're going through. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't know him. He could end up being a racist. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden, an Owen Benjamin kind of a figure emerges.
Yeah.
Where he's doing like a podcast in the woods, and then all of a sudden,
It is true though.
you go, "Oh fuck, no, he is that."
So that was a 20-second clip, right? That Bobby.
Very brief little, and it's funny, man.
Very
Owen
brief.
will hone in on a 20. Now, how long is the Owen video in response?
7 minutes.
So 7.5 minutes.
That is correct.
For a response to we can all agree, not even 20 seconds, because he was talking actually about something else and brought Owen up as an example.
And also,
so a passing mention.
And also,
we could rate it as a passing mention.
He was also, to be fair to Bobby here, he was also joking. That was a good joke to make, right? Like, he was fucking around. Something we've said many times on this show, but let's check it out.
7.5 minutes for a passing reference.
Bobby Lee just called me a racist on his podcast. Bobby Lee has murdered his own babies, guys.
What? He has?
I mean, I guess he's got an abortion.
Oh, I see.
Not with his own bare hands.
I was going to say, is Bobby Lee out there killing babies?
I'll be honest with you. If you told me Bobby Lee was taking on a baby, I'd still be worried about Bobby Lee.
Yeah, you're
I'd be
right.
like, bring a gun, just in
Yeah.
case.
Just
He's
be
not
careful.
a very tough man. Also, I got to give Johnny Arcade credit because he keeps getting hit with copyright stuff. So now he's like zooming in his one crazy eye.
Which is perfect,
Just
or his
his
mouth.
Hey, transformative content.
It is. It is.
It's the laziest transformative content.
But it works.
But you're like, hey, it's a different video. What do you want from me?
He brags about the abortions he got his girlfriend to have. His own children he murdered. Everybody talked about that.
But he's whispering in
okay.
his house, so you can tell.
Yeah.
He got a talking to earlier. Like, look, if you're gonna do a video in here, don't start with your crazy bullshit.
Here's the thing, Owen. Look, nobody is saying that you can't criticize Bobby Lee for having his girlfriend have abortions. I mean, if you're pro-life, you could do that. You could criticize somebody for having 27 abortions. I absolutely agree with you. But his criticism of you has nothing to do with him getting abortions. You know what I mean? Like, one thing, he called you racist. Owen's not denying that he's racist. He's just saying, yeah, well, you got abortions. Like,
So who's worse?
I don't know.
Casey Anthony, bitch, out of Florida. Bobby Lee is Casey Anthony.
You understand how he went, I want to do a video, hon, and she said, look, the baby's taking a nap. You know what I mean? I've had a rough week. It's very quiet in the house right now. Don't start your fucking shit in here. And he was like, all right.
Yeah, I'll keep it down.
Guys, he had an abortion. He went and got one of them abortions.
And by the way, he's doing exactly the thing Bobby Lee made fun of. He's out in the woods just fucking screaming into a camera.
Well, now I'm going to make a point.
You think he's going to do an Asian joke?
I'm going to do my show here in my house where I run the fucking roost. Oh, and are you there? Ha ha ha! No, I'm not streaming in here, honey. Because I run the fucking show.
You think he's going to prove he's not racist by doing an Asian joke? Because that's going to be awesome.
Murdered his own babies. And he's going to call me a racist? He's just called me a racist on a podcast. He sucked his... This is a true story. True story. Bobby Lee sucked his cousin's dick, a boy, and then his cousin killed himself.
Didn't your friend kill himself after you tried to give him Treehab?
Treehab.
Remember that? Instead of getting him real medical professional help, you got him... you gave him Treehab? You mean like that, Owen? And sucking dick like, I don't know, your dad did?
And then Bobby went on to kill his own babies.
So he sits here and he tells all of these little stories about other people, right? But when you bring up stories about Owen, verifiable stories, things that he's never fucking even tried to, was when he talks about, this guys are sodomites. But he never addresses the fact that there's many people that say you have done things that would be considered homosexual acts.
Or borderline.
Borderline.
Yeah,
borderline gay stuff.
Yeah.
when we bring that stuff up, you again are innocent Owen. Owen, do you understand how crazy you look? Because I know he watches these. I know he watches the clips. He says he doesn't, but he definitely does. Because now he's going to again say, and by the way, Owen, you're obsessed with us. You're always talking about us. So can you please stop?
And now Bobby Lee thinks that he can tell me that, or tell the world that I am a quote unquote racist. Bobby Lee is just a little cancer cell that can speak. A Korean calling anyone racist is mind-blowing.
He's had a while to like sit down on this and really, this is a comedian, by the way. People call him a comedian. To like really mull over, and the way he roasted him back was call him a little cancer cell.
Yeah.
He is not a funny man. Like, comedians, for the most part, you got to be kind of quick, deal with hecklers, be quick. He's so slow. Like, he really is just, it takes him so long to come up with something, and the thing he comes up with is so childish. It's not really funny. And when he has one or two things that come across funny, then he just repeats them over and over and over again.
I think he's also getting less funny because he's not around funny people anymore.
That's true.
There is no funny, like, at least when you go into the Comedy Store every weekend, you're around funny people.
Right.
If you go to the Comedy Cellar every weekend, you're around other funny people. You're breaking balls. You're staying on your toes. It's like not sparring for a while.
Right.
You're going to go out there, and the minute you do it, you're going to pull a muscle, and you're like, oh, fuck, I haven't.
Like when The Rock came back to wrestling and got a hernia immediately?
I've not been in the gym in a while. There's that whole thing. So I just think he's isolated. And you don't get funnier by screaming about Jews every night alone on your porch.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a funnier guy.
Koreans are some of the most racist people alive. Koreans will disown you if you, even speak to a Japanese woman. Koreans are...
True.
They'll disown you if you just speak to a Japanese woman?
To a Japanese woman?
Sounds like you're making this up as you go along. Look at all the names with bears that's commenting. It's so cringe.
Some of the most racist people that exist. I respect it. I think it's one of the reasons they've beaten the grabblers. They keep it insular. They give each other long...
These fucking... It's not even just the people commenting, but it's their avatars that are just look at these fucking boomers.
Breathing Bear, Alex the Fox.
They help each other open dry cleaners.
Texas Bear. Bobby Lee wants his lollipops.
But they're racist. And good for them. But they should never call me that. I mean, I aspire to one day be as insular and supportive.
Every time Owen learns a new word, he just really fucking runs it into the ground, doesn't he?
Name one time he's ever done that.
Lollipop, fancy pants, the rollerblade accident thing,
wizard, logos,
wizardry,
gammas.
logos, yes, gamma, stuff like that.
Of my own people is the Koreans. Right now, my people are a little disappointed.
Grabbler, which was an Onion skit, by the way.
But it doesn't matter. He just sucks things up into his little fucking sphere, and that's it.
And it's his?
It's just nuts.
Because they cuck too much. But I would love
to hear the kids in the background.
Able to be that ethnically centered. Let's just call it that. Where I can support other white Americans.
Aren't you like a fourth Jewish, Owen?
Probably have,
but at least 25%.
Aspire to be Korean. Didn't racist used to mean you only care about certain... It doesn't even matter. It's a joke. He's a baby murderer. Bobby Lee said he witnessed satanic rituals at the Comedy Store. Yeah, he's a cuck.
Has he? Is that a true thing?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I don't think so either.
And I'm sure he probably... No, you know what? I take it back. I'm actually pretty certain he probably did say that. It was probably a joke.
A joke,
It sounds like something he'd say as a joke.
Right.
Oh, at the Comedy Store? Yeah, there's all kinds of Luciferian rituals they do, like blood sacrifices. Yeah, totally. Because he's an ass.
He killed his own kids. He was part of his cousin's suicide. And he wants to talk shit about me.
He was part of his cousin's suicide.
Yes.
Bobby Lee probably told the joke, or it might have been based kind of Jimmy's Monster Rain story. When he was younger, he sucked his cousin's dick, and maybe his cousin killed himself. I don't think the two things were related.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the guy wasn't like outed. I mean, he's Asian, so I'm sure he's a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, racist? I mean, imagine fighting Bobby Lee. Can you imagine what that would look like? You just have this little, just talking cancer cell.
Look at that.
Same joke again.
Lady for Logos Bear. Like, that's...
That's really cringe, right?
It's very cringe.
It was just always naked and just killing his own babies.
Oh, DBT in the chat said, on Tiger Belly, he talked about them trying to seance the spirit of Mitch Hedberg or some shit like that.
Oh, so joking.
Yeah, they're probably just drunk one night and they're like, let's try to talk to Mitch. Like, that's,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not a ritual blood sacrifice.
Just imagine what that would
Did it work?
appear.
No, have you
Just like
seen
a-
comedy?
No, you haven't. I just thought maybe they fucked up and we got Thomas Murphy instead.
They brought back fucking, oh no, I was going to say, what do you call it? Gallagher, but he's not dead.
No, Gallagher's alive.
Just his career.
An actual man-sized man. Are you and Amy going to be playing music again tonight? Probably not. I might take a breather from streams a little bit. I have to work on this show that I'm touring with. You know? I sold out my tour, yo. Go troll Bobby Lee. I don't troll people. I do things from my accounts. Like, from my streams, from my Instagram, will talk about Joe Rogan being a midget or Bobby Lee being a baby killer, right? I don't go
But I won't go on anybody's show that actually challenges me.
on their stuff. It just isn't what I do. May he live 1,000 years, right? I highly doubt he will, though. That's probably why he's anti-gun, because he knows if he had one, he'd blow his brains out.
You're responsible for your cousin's suicide, but if you had a gun, you'd kill your... Like, he is becoming... I think that the worst... And I always say this, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I think the worst thing about this is how wholly unfunny he is. Like, he's not funny. Like, there's people that have been lunatics and lost their mind, but have still been really funny while it's happened. Like, he's not even funny.
He's not funny or likable.
No.
Like, for instance, look at Sam Tripoli. Great example of somebody who has similar DNA as Owen in a lot of ways, but he manages to come off as funny and likable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not like, this guy's just, there's no jokes, and he's not a likable person. Sam Tripoli is a nut. He smacks the table by the mic. He's all over the place. He's a wreck when he hosts the show, but there's a certain element of you're like, I like watching this guy. He seems pretty cool. Whereas he's just, you're a cancer cell. Fucking cousin killed himself because of you. You know what I mean?
Not that funny.
Because the thing about baby killers like Bobby Lee,
And then that's it. He gets on one thing.
That's it. Bobby Lee's a baby killer, all right?
Okay.
Okay? He killed a baby. Could you imagine Sam Tripoli in a car ranting about this? He killed his cousin, all right?
he doesn't want to be alone with a gun or drugs because he knows instinctively that he would want to, take out a murderer, which is himself. Because when you are a part of murdering the most innocent of the population, which...
But he called you racist, though. Like, I get it. I know you're going into that, but have you going to address the thing that he said, or no?
...is your unborn baby. You want to commit a capital punishment. It's like those people deserve the death penalty. That's why he's always suicidal.
Now Bobby Lee's suicidal. 20 seconds, Bobby Lee mentioned him, by the way. It was 20 seconds.
It wasn't
That's
20
why-
seconds.
It was less than 20
It was
seconds.
a passing reference in a 20-second clip where he was talking about somebody else. You can hear it in the clip. He was saying something. He's like, yeah, you don't want to end up like an Owen Benjamin living it. It was a passing reference. Passing!
Why these people are suicidal, because they're trying to do the right thing.
Guys, no one's having more... Sorry. Guys, no one's having more fun than us.
They're trying to do the right thing.
You gotta love that his kids are just walking around there, and you can hear him in the background. So if you could hear them, they could hear him, and they're just gonna grow up in a house of like, Bobby Lee's a baby killer.
That's great,
My
Dad.
dad's a sodomite.
That's fine. Dad, I need this permission slip signed. Fuck it, I'll just ask Mom.
I'm not gonna sign it. Your teacher's Miss Goldstein.
Like Jews become school teachers.
Yeah, you're right. No, but wives of Jews become school teachers.
And take out a baby killer before he strikes again. Little Bobby Lee. Well, Bobby Lee. Do you know his name is Robert Lee? How funny is that?
No.
He didn't
no,
really do that.
No.
Did he really
no,
say that?
No.
Did
What?
he really say
no,
that?
how funny. Yeah, we all know his real name's Robert. I didn't think he was born Bobby. Probably short for Bob.
Guys, I don't know if you know this or not. No, I got a bombshell for you. Did you know that Ray Lewis, his real name is Raymond Lewis?
No way.
Believe that shit?
Check this out.
What a nerd.
Check this out. Did you know Dick Cheney's real name is Richard?
It's so weird.
Swear to God, bro.
Why would you say Dick? Why would you
that's
say that
worse.
on purpose?
That's worse, right?
That might be the stupidest thing he's ever said.
You might be right. You might be right.
That's guys, you know, comedian Bobby Kelly, his real name is Robert Kelly.
Can you believe that?
Fucking piece of shit.
He's named after a general of the South. Bobby Lee and a girl cried when Trump got elected. I don't think that you guys have that sunk in with you guys yet. Bobby Lee and his girlfriend murdered their own babies. So that's why he's suicidal. That's why he is a drug addict or whatever. I don't know if he's a drug addict, but
Are you, Owen? You know how he backed off with? Did you notice?
off of that quick.
He's called him a baby killer. He's called him all these other things. I don't know if he's a drug addict, but he called them one. But you know that's only when he backed off away from.
He backed away from that very quickly. He caught himself. I think.
Why
also
is that,
because,
Owen?
No, I think also because Bobby Lee, if I recall correctly, I think he used to have some issues, and he's always Bobby Lee will always be a lunatic, but he seems to have really gotten a handle on things, and I can't see Bobby Lee being in the place that he's at today compared to where he used to be without some level of sobriety involved. So I have a feeling Owen backed off that because he realized that was probably one of the few hills Bobby Lee probably would have died on a legal hill over.
Well, I don't think Bobby Lee would have even done that. I don't think so. But
Well, I'm just saying going after him, though, 'cause
I think it's guilty conscience on him.
Yeah, maybe, but that too. But I also think there's an element of dudes. If people are sober, they take that shit seriously, man.
Right.
You could call them a fucking pedophile and a murderer, and they won't care. But if you say to a sober person they're not sober, they'll snap over that shit.
Yeah, go ahead. Try to call Vossett. See what he says.
that's probably why these people are anti-gun.
No, he's still
because
funny about it, though.
He would be tempted to do the right thing and take out the baby killer. Abortion destroys psyche through guilt and shame. Yeah, and then they attack strong males like me. Bobby Lee.
Anybody who has to call themselves a strong male isn't a strong male.